Hello, I'm going to discuss something about coronavirus 19. Um, I've done quite a bit of research looking through news media, some internet, some TV documentary, and some scientific journal. I've also discussed with one doctor in UK, two doctors in India, and one researcher pharmacist. He is working for a large pharmaceutical company in India. Um, he actually has in-depth knowledge of medication for this treatment. I've also discussed with a doctor based in USA and another doctor who is based in Netherlands. Now, this Indian doctor and this doctor in Netherlands both has been dealing with coronavirus patients for nearly 3 to 4 weeks now, and they have given me an insight of what is going on, what it is, and I will share it, what I learned from them. Coronavirus is a zoonotic disease. Zoonotic disease meaning they jump from animals to human, and this sort of virus is not new. We have known for many years, maybe 30 years, this sort of infectious viruses spread among general population. It starts from somewhere, then it spreads locally and internationally sometime. But as experience has told everyone that this is the widest possible virus that has been spreading all through the world. Now, all of you know about Ebola, swine flu, mad cow disease, SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS, and MARS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. This has been going on for a number of years. In particular, MARS is Middle East Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus. That is when the name came actually. This is not a new name. It has not been coined. Coronavirus was there in as early as 2012. It actually initiated in Saudi Arabia, and the source is camel. As you can guess, it is camel, and again, this is a transmission of disease from animals to human. Now, this sort of disease spreads much easily in a situation where there is a wet market. Wet market is where people sell live and dead animals together, and that it becomes very infectious. The source of this coronavirus 19 is Wuhan, a district in China, and it actually they have pinpointed where it started. This started because, as I said before, there's a wet market where they sell live and dead animal together. So you can see bats, cockroaches, snakes, cats, dogs, and usual animals like lamb, things like that. So what happens? They are slaughtered in front or in the same cage or same container where the live peoples are also wondering about, and that's how it gets the infection, and that's how it started in Wuhan district actually. And there is another also, there is a thing called pangolin, which also eat insects, and these sort of animals are more dangerous to human, as you can imagine. Now, the typical syndrome or symptoms that you get for coronavirus is very well known. It's fever, high fever, cough, shortness of breath, and pneumonia is common but not always, and gastrointestinal problem, gastrointestinal symptoms actually, including diarrhea. And what happens is that these are symptoms, but there are cases where there are no such symptoms, and that is termed as asymptomatic. That means no symptom was seen until the patient died, or if for some other reason the patient felt ill, and it was then found out that the patient had coronavirus. So these are the general view of what is going on. And as I said, the coronavirus 19 is very similar to coronavirus in 2012. And what happens is that it has been found that older people are more susceptible, and older people or any other people with some underlying conditions like heart problem, breathing problem, pneumonia, or asthma, diabetes, that sort of it actually enhances onset of coronavirus. That has been found. Now, there's quite a lot of research and everything has gone on to find out, firstly, how to stop it, and then how to treat them. And treating is first problem is the diagnosis. How do you diagnose somebody has coronavirus? That has been a challenge actually, because most people don't realize that they got coronavirus, and when they realize, it's too late possibly. That's a problem. And another issue has been going around all over the country, in particular in the UK, the diagnosis. There's no kit, not enough kit to test and find out or diagnose who has got this disease. Usually only there are 2 or 3 processes. You can get a nose or throat swab. That is very easy and cost effective. And another thing is more accurate is sputum. Sputum is when people cough, and there is a vapor molecule or water molecule comes out, which is sputum. That's what infects one person from a victim to a sufferer, to a person who is nearby actually. So anyone with the disease can spread very easily, and that's why you have been saying, and that everybody is asking to keep a 2-meter distance. Apparently, this virus can travel up to 2 meters very safely. So that is the advice is that isolation, and especially in public, one must keep 2-meter distance to avoid catching this virus. And the thing is that the virus itself is very prone to affect anyone who is in close contact with the sufferers, and there are three actual virus, as most of you have seen. It is a roundish thing with spikes, and it has got actually three layers. The spikes you can see protruding out of the, like a ball thing, and the protruding out is a spikes which holds the thing, and that is a glycoprotein, and glycoprotein is the thing which grips. That means when it passes from one person to another person, that is what grips the person and get infected. The outer layer is ribonucleic acid. Ribonucleic acid, RNA. When it enters in any live host, that means when it enters a person, it spreads and it extends the family. So that is why one gradually get infected, because one such ribonucleic acid can multiply into thousands and thousands within 2 to 3 days, and that's what gradually the patient become very ill, leading to death most often than not, actually. And the other layer is, as I said, is three layers actually. The first layer is the spike, and the outer layer is the ribonucleic acid, and the innermost layer is lipid layer. Lipid layer holds the virus parts together actually, and by breaking the lipid layer only, one can kill the virus. So there is almost like a nucleus of the virus. So that is the structure of the virus itself. Now, I just got some up-to-date figures for comparison, and worldwide there are 2,165,000 has been infected, and 145,700 people has died. And I will give you some relevant figures. In UK, up to date, that means on 17th of April 2020, people affected in UK is 108,692, and people killed is 14,576. So compare that with USA. USA has 676,676 people who are infected. That means almost 700,000 has been infected, but the death rate is twice as much actually. It is 34,784. To date, the death rate in USA is 34,784. Compared to that, Germany had 138,369 people infected, and only 4,106 people died. I'll give you another two, then I'll make some comment. In India, compared to that, they had 8,447,000 people. That means 8,500 people infected, and only 273 people died. Whereas compared to Netherlands, I'll just make a comparison of these two countries and you can comment on the figures. In Netherlands, 33,449 people got affected and 3,479 people died. So there's questions and doubts in everybody's mind, and that India, with a population of 1.3 billion, they have got only 8,447 people affected, and 273 people died. Netherlands, much smaller country, it's smaller than many states, like it is smaller than Bombay or Delhi actually, or West Bengal, and it has got population of it has got people infected is 30,449, and 3,459 people died. So 10 times more death in Netherlands than in India, whole of India. Obviously, first thing will come in everybody's mind that accuracy of the figures supplied by Indian authorities, but in some respect, I think that is definitely lower percentage in India than in Netherlands. Just I'm comparing, because even if they hide some figures, or even if figures is very sketchy, unreliable, but there's no way that they can hide so many people. There are so many people dying, and not people are not noticing that there is suddenly the crematorium and burials are full of people. It's not evidence that must increase. Actually, there must be some increases, but not the one can expect. That in my mind, there may be two reasons. Firstly, Indians are more Indians. When I'm in India, I'm just quoting India, but all the Asian countries and African countries have the similar figures actually. So first thing is that they have possibly more resistance, because they have got so many. They have suffered. Their health condition is much worse than the developed countries, and they are used to having these sort of infectious diseases. So they have more resistance. They've built up more resistance, and that is why I think the result is so skewed. And another thing is that also, in particular in India, and some of the African country and Asian country also, they have always exposed to some malarial treatment. They had malaria, or they have taken vaccination for malaria. Almost 100% of the people have taken, whereas that is not the case in developed countries. So that may have it. In India also, there used to be, in our time, there was a vaccination called BCG, and every Indian, maybe over 20 or 25 years old, had the BCG. Now they have stopped actually. So this sort of vaccination must have protected them, and they are less affected. So that's my argument. You can have your own views actually. Now, what is happening in UK and all the developing countries? As I told before, that there is no proper medicine or vaccination for coronavirus to date, and what they're doing, they're just testing different things, and relying on the treatment which is not medicinal but physical and environmental. That means all they are doing is giving pure oxygen, because most of the people has got all the symptom I told you. In addition to that, they have oxygen deficiency in the blood actually, so they are oxygenated, and normal procedure that in intensive care unit you get oxygen anyway, and some critical patients has been given ventilators, and ventilators actually does work, but in reality, it is my estimation that almost 50% people only survive. The death rate is quite high on those people who are using ventilators, and that is because ventilator system is a bit dubious, because when you have in ITU unit you have oxygen, it is aiding to give you more oxygen to your blood, and you have got option to breathe out as well freely. So you can inhale the oxygen and you can breathe your own, actually. It doesn't hamper your breathing. In ventilator, what I have noticed, or I have found out, that the patients have problem breathing out, because while you are trying to breathe out, the oxygen and air mixture is forced into it. So there's two-way flowing going on, and sometimes they feel uncomfortable in breathing. That's what I observed in many medical journals. They feel uncomfortable, they can't breathe properly, and it actually does. It's like a choking, actually. So a lot of people has said that they have problem breathing in, and actually it's not effective and not safe. It has to be monitored 24 hours, because there's some pressure involved, actually, and not everybody can take the same pressure. That is my guess, actually. The pressure and everything has to be adjusted. And also, lungs do not like, especially diseased lungs, do not like to be inflated, because when it's inflated, there's leaks and holes comes in, and a lot of people die as a result of having ventilators. There is much study needed on this area, and they actually it is turning out to be not reliable and not safe enough. That is my view, what I understood, or I read through journals and different documents, actually. Now, there are quite a lot of tests going on in different countries, and in India, the doctor I have spoken with, he and his unit is looking after 19 patients. They're all Indians coming from Iran. That means they used to work in Iran. They have been returned home, and they're isolated in a particular ward in a hospital near Calcutta, and they are receiving just normal health care, and without any medicine other than one or two medicine that is being used for malaria, and all of them has recovered well, and some of them has gone out, actually. Now, there are some tests going on at the moment, and there is actually you can find that there are two medicine that is used, which is not recommended but used widely in USA and in India and some other countries as well, and it is hydroxychloroquine sulfate, and chloroquine phosphate. These are the medicine they've been using worldwide for malaria, and India is the major supplier. And I know a person in Calcutta who is associated with the company that manufactures these medicines, and they use also antibiotics like azithromycin, that's antibiotic used. but the hydroxychloroquine has some effect. It's better to give something than nothing, actually. So I would argue that it is better to give this or chloroquine. That may and may not cure. Time will tell, but it is having some effect. And Indians, those people are using this 19, and they're, as I said, they are all on the way of going back home really soon. All of them will be free. Now, another thing, this medicine, people are asking when the vaccine will come available. I can tell you that it will not be available for another year and a half, actually. Because any medicine has to be tested thoroughly, and it has to pass Federal Drug Authority (FDA) of USA to get recognition that it can be marketed, and it takes 1.5 years to do that sort of test, actually. So it will be a dream to think that anyone will get any proper vaccination or medicine in 6 months, 8 months. It won't happen. Vaccination will not happen because they go through very stringent testing. They are tested on humans with perfect health, and the results come. So it goes on and on, but I can tell you that it will not happen for another year and a half. And there are two USA companies, they are very close to getting a solution. The GlaxoSmithKline, GSK, everyone knows. And there's another company called Sanofi. They are the leaders in this sort of vaccination. They have done some studies, and they have been researching on coronavirus 12. So they have been on this route before. And what they are trying to do, the Sanofi, they use a technology called recombinant DNA platform. So they have already got a DNA platform. What they're doing, they're replacing coronavirus 19 as a new layer of genetics instead of corona 12. That was the earlier one. So that is quite simple for them. They are still undergoing that test. And GlaxoSmithKline using another technology called adjuvants. Adjuvants is some ingredients added to the vaccine that boost the response, and so your immune system become more strong. Basically, in layman's word, that increases the immunity system of the person. So the inner defense, the immunity is the ingrowth in the body, actually, which is actually fights the virus. So this gives more power to the immunity of one. Now, there are some benefits happening. In particular, in UK, we have found that and maybe worldwide, there is less pollution because less vehicle going, less people coming out on the street, so less pollution. And it has been reported that Himalayas top has been visible after 30 years. So there was a very quiet period for 3-4 weeks, and that has reduced the pollution. And now the Himalayan mountain, top of the hill of the mountain is visible after 30 years, actually. Another is less accidents because there is no car on the road, so there can't be many accidents. And in UK, every hospital got accident and emergency department A&E, and A&E visitors has reduced 50%. So 50% less people are going to accident and emergency because they're all scared of getting and catching the virus. And some of the urgent cases like heart problem, heart bypass and stent putting and that sort of thing, that activity has reduced to 35%. So there is less operations going for some unreasonable, unexplained reason actually. That why so people are having less heart attack or they are not taking any chance and surviving. And the UK statistics also show that 28% drop in reported crime, 28% drop in reported crime during this last month actually, and 37% less reported burglaries, 27 drop in vehicle crime, and 37% decrease in rapes, and 54% decrease in shoplifting. The shops are closed, so you can't do shoplifting anywhere. That is the fact actually. And there's another adverse effect, which is it has been found that 59% increase in antisocial activity, which is mainly, I think, people get aggravated, and this lockdown is not taken easily. That's you can see the trouble they are having in India. A section of committee will not like this lockdown for various reasons. Some of them are justified, some of them are not. Now, as I said, there is no medicine, no vaccination at the moment, but people are advising you to wear mask and keep 2 meters apart from any person that you don't know. And also they are advising to wash your hands frequently when you travel or go to shopping or handle something which is which is touched by other people actually. And they are asking for sanitizers and things like that, and sanitizer is becoming very popular. But my view is that soap and water does the equal job actually. You don't need alcohol based sanitizer. Soap and water kills this virus, that I know very well. And what happens is that in soap it's made of two different molecules. One molecule is hydrophilic, that means it likes water, and another molecule is hydrophobic, that means it doesn't like water. That's how the soap is built actually. So it has got two molecules that that is inside the soap. And so how does the soap work? That molecules that are hydrophobic, they actually, as you know, the water and oil don't mix. So what happens, these hydrophobic molecules, they attack the oil, they catch the oils actually, and the hydrophilic molecule that likes water, loves water, will take it away. So that's how when you wash with oily clothes, it gets clean, because one molecule grabs the oil, another molecule washes it. And if you make it a bit warm water, you'll see more oil you'll get rid of actually. So that's right. But in alcoholic hand wash, there is no such process actually. It does kill germ, but it is sometimes you need about 70 to 80% concentration of alcohol. It become expensive. As I said, this soap and water is equally effective, and it kills the germ. It has been proven that soap and water will kill the germ. even coronavirus germ if it is hot water. I actually mentioned in my earlier presentation the hot steam evaporation is a good thing. So because this virus, when it gets to a person, from one person to another person, it gets stuck on the throat and it stays there for 4 days actually before it passes to lungs. And when it goes to lungs, that's when it creates havoc. So I have suggested in earlier presentation that you must drink hot water 2 or 3 times a day, hot milk, hot tea, this sort of thing has got a chance of killing the virus actually. If you don't do anything, nothing will happen. These are my suggestions actually. Um, what I can say finally is that this situation is worse than World War III. Actually, if there was a World War III, I would put it to you that there will be less people killed than the people who will be killed due to coronavirus. Other than obviously nuclear war, but if there's a conventional war, that means one country or a group of countries fights with another country or another group of country, the total death will be much less than the death will be in due to this disease of coronavirus. That is, I'm sure of, and time will tell that I am right. But I am suggesting that this is worse than World War III. Also, there are a lot of side effects will happen. A lot of people will die immaturely, although it says that older people has got more chance, but the younger people can also die from coronavirus. And also economically, what will happen? More people will lose their jobs or business, that is for sure. And more people will be homeless. A lot of people will be traumatized and due to financial difficulties worldwide. I'm talking about worldwide. A lot of people will be financially very, very poor and may not be able to recover ever again. And some large corporation will also go bust, like airlines, travel industry. Not so many people will travel in future. Lot of small businesses will go under because they got no support at all, and they won't survive. They depend on daily income or weekly income, and if they have got no income for 4, 5, 6 weeks, they will not be able to survive. And lot of people will suffer mental illness. That's another thing. Psychologically, a lot of people will be depressed. A lot of people had vision, a time scale of doing something, or they were in the path to rising up. That has been broken, and if it's broken on the wrong time, then they will not be able to revert back to the position that they were or they wanted to be. And more family breakup will also happen, because it's usual that if somebody, especially people who are dependent on one person in a family, in a lot of poor countries, there's only one person who earns the bread, and if that person has any difficulty in sourcing finance, then the whole family will be disoriented. So it's a huge challenge, and I think it is a thing that will affect almost everyone, and there will be very few beneficial, and surprisingly those who benefit will be those who are well off already. Thank you very much.